What's going on, Menace?
Plain lady.
What did you see about Plain Lady? Because I know you don't TikTok. She's a TikTok phenomenon right now.
Which I mean, I saw it on Instagram and like that motherfucker back there is not real. Like, is she seeing something, or does she see something? Like, I don't know what she's pointing at. Then, real quick before we started, I typed in "plain lady" on Instagram, and it was saying how the Architect 22. It just started throwing up a bunch of different dates. It was 22 years ago from 9/11, or I don't even know.
Well, yeah, when I mentioned it to you, you were going into crazy places where I was like, I don't even know what you Googled or what you researched. But so the Plain Lady, that motherfucker right there, that motherfucker right there is not real. And internet went ablaze. Apparently, everyone's like it's a shapeshifter. Have you ever seen what a shapeshifter is?
So my kids talk about it all the time.
Your kids say that all the time?
Are always talking about shapes or skinwalkers.
Really?
Yep. My kids are all over YouTube, dude.
So that's a big thing on YouTube,
hang on,
I guess.
But ready for this? This is they're not over YouTube at my house. I don't let my kids just watch fucking anything they want on YouTube. Back to whatever, but they do come across this crazy shit and they know shit. And I'm like, why do you know that? But back to what we're talking about, shapeshifters. Who says she's a shapeshifter?
The internet.
And
so she starts saying how the guy, the motherfucker next to her is not real. And people are saying that the internet, just the TikTok just went crazy with that it was a skinwalker or a shapeshifter. Do you believe in this?
Now, so the definition of a skinwalker or I think those are two different things. A shapeshifter and a skinwalker. Are those two different things?
That's why I was asking you. I'm not
so
the
my
expert.
Kids. I wish Max here because he would go in, dude. He goes in. So they tell me what a skinwalker is like I think it's like a dead Indian or something like that can turn into animals or something like that. You know what? Next episode we will come back to this. I will have him sit with me, and he will tell the definition of a skinwalker and or shapeshifter. He probably has two different definitions.
So my experience of it is there was a good show on HBO. I don't know if you saw it. It had Jason Bateman. You know
X-Files?
Jason Bateman? No, it was called. I forget what it was called, but it had Jason Bateman, and it was a really good show where it was Jason Bateman was somewhere, and he committed a murder, and they had his DNA and everything. It was so far away, but it was a shapeshifter that like scratched him, got his DNA or something, and then became him.
Okay.
Something like that. So that motherfucker is not real. The way that they blinked or something is how people started saying. The lady is now missing. The lady has not come out. I did research. Can't find anything on the lady. You couldn't find her name. Right before we went live, I was telling you people are impersonating her and just misinformation. If not disinformation about, because that's what people are saying, that the reason why they can't hear from her is because they're trying to cover it up and all this.
So is this some kind of alien thing? Because that's what the video I saw about Satanism or whatever, it ended was like, no, this is an alien encounter.
You want my take? She's a fucking idiot.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
She's a typical, I don't know where it was. I saw one report that it was Dallas. She was attractive. I don't mean, wait, she was actually attractive. You're not an idiot, sweetheart, when you see this. But I'm saying you're an idiot in the sense that I've met many girls like that, and I feel like I don't think she was going, he's not real, and that he's a shapeshifter, he's not a real person, or anything like that. I think she was like a hood rat chick who was going, I'm real. I keep it real. He's not real. You're not real. They had some type of conversation, and she was like, I'm real. You're not real. I keep it real.
Right.
You know how real I keep it?
Yes,
I'll get up in front of this whole plane, and I will yell how you're not real. Versus shapeshifters, and I found a video where the guy blinked. Like, that's what the internet's going with.
Now, do you know this woman's name? Does the plane lady have a name, a government name?
Can't find nothing.
So,
so you'll get
no
things
one
like
knows
this.
what
All right,
flight that was. Who recorded the video?
There's a couple videos, couple of different angles. So I have one right here that says, "Is Jenna Wilson the plane lady?" She's hot, at least I think. She was attractive in my book, but she also, again, not throwing shade. I like girls like this, if you will. She seems like she's one of those girls who has an attitude, talks with her hands, and keeps it real. You know,
when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yes, that was a case of when keeping it real goes wrong. Perfect example. That was a case of when keeping it real goes wrong. And she was like, "I'll flip out right now and they'll kick you off the plane. I keep it real." And the guy was probably like, "Listen, bitch, you're crazy. Do what you got to do. And I'm just going to sit here and keep my mouth shut."
Do we have any more information on why she lost it? Just
no, because the guy wasn't keeping it real.
Do we have any information on what happened after because the video kind of ends, right?
They all got taken off the plane. Supposedly, someone reported that they all got taken off the plane, and then the lady, everybody, and then the lady came and tried to get back on the plane, like tried to get back on the next wave of getting put back on the plane, and they were like, "No, you're not coming on." And then people started reporting like, "Oh, it's fishy. They changed the flight crew and they changed the pilot." That's very normal. They don't let flight crews fly back to back like that, or they have like all time clocks. And
once you're sitting in an airport for so long, all right, you're timed out.
Yeah, timed out. So that's why they were switching crews, if anything. Like no conspiracy there or anything, but people are saying they can't find this lady and aliens, and people are going shapeshifters and all this craziness, but I don't know. Shapeshifters,
so
aliens. What was it? Shapeshifter, aliens? We don't know. But she keeps it real.
Again, how did it get so much? It's just one of those weird viral things. I mean, right? I see like weird videos every day of someone doing what,
TikTok, and it's good, bro. Like, whoever put out the first one and was like, "Oh no, it's shapeshifter. I got it. Shapeshifter." It just got legs and started going. There's been no confirmation from, and then people will go, "Oh, they'll keep it secret." I would think if there was a real shapeshifter and other people on the plane saw it, the flight crew would be coming out with it. The other people on the plane, there would be more videos. I think it's a case of crazy bitch got kicked off the plane. And that's why we're not seeing more videos and hearing more stories.
A clickbait title.
Clickbait title got the world going. Shapeshifters, Yahoo, and every news channel and all these things are covering it. But plain lady, I thought you looked good. If you're single, Menace and the Man. Click the subscribe button.
The man of it. Take the man of it.
Yeah, the man. Yes, it says.
So
congrats to Menace, who just had his anniversary yesterday.
Thank you. 1 year with.
So 1 year. The relationships are tough. We'll move right into Jonah Hill.
Yes.
Jonah Hill's in the news he set boundaries on his relationship with his surfer model girlfriend.
What is the timeline of their dating?
I believe a couple years. I didn't go that deep with my information. I did get up the messages. But even, who's Jonah Hill to you?
He's the fat kid from Superbad.
Okay.
He has another one that was like, he's also in This Is the End.
Love This Is the End. That's my movie. Yeah.
Pretty good one. He's got another one, but I can't. He's in his older age and he's thinner. I was like, what? He did a nice job.
Well, Wolf of Wall Street.
He was good in that one,
He's
but there's one past
Wall Street.
Anyways, but a little bit off topic, but still on topic. Funny in his younger age, but like he's the guy that I hate, like the annoying guy who's always like, why you gonna do that? Like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up, stop whining.
In the movie or in real life?
In the movie, like Superbad, he was just crying like, I want to get my dick sucked, and they're gonna suck our dick, we're missing it. Like it was funny, but he's just whining the whole movie about how he wants to not be a virgin going to college.
I've heard stories that he's pretty pretentious in real life too, like kind of a doucher. difficult to work with and stuff. I saw a clip the other day. They were asking Seth Rogen, they were like, the interviewer was like, who's the most difficult who's the most difficult person to work with on set? And they were about to start reading off names. And before they even read off a name, he's like, Jonah Hill. So apparently he's got a reputation in Hollywood. And he's young Hollywood. He's been around the game for a minute. So
yeah, he was a teenager in Superbad, right?
He did movies before that, and even he grew up, Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
He grew up with Dustin Hoffman's kids.
Okay.
That's how Jonah Hill got into movies. He's friends with Dustin Hoffman's family. And was in that Hollywood clique of young Hollywood kids.
Right.
Someone
Not
one
what
day.
You know, right? It's who you know.
Absolutely. You got politics in everything, like we speak about all the time. But I love Jonah Hill. I think he's a great actor, but apparently he's a hardcore misogynist, a predator.
Well, okay, now let's get into the details of dating the girl. He's been with this surfer girl for a couple years, we're going to say. We don't know for sure, but...
I clicked I just typed his name in and
because hang on, I think that changes things kind of, like how long you're together with one. So if you're with a girl for 2 months and you're like, hey, bitch, I don't like when you do A, B, and C.
I feel like
you're with a girl for 2 years and you're like, listen, hey, do you really have to,
I feel like he's getting dogpiled a little bit too, because now someone named a former child star named Alexa Nicholas is calling him a predator and saying that he kissed her when she was 16 and stuff. Now, this came out today.
He was probably 16 too. Awesome.
Yesterday, the text messages came out about with his girlfriend. And then I did see people that were like, these text messages are from years ago. Why are you putting them out now? Like, what agenda do you have to put them out now? And also, I guess I am defending Jonah Hill, but the context of the text messages, it's only that snippet. There's nothing from above. There's nothing from below that tells me where the conversation...
What to say? Can you tell us what it says?
Yeah. Well, Jonah Hill's attorney says the accusations from that young girl are completely false.
The 16-year-old who kissed me?
It's crazy, too, the world. There's so many actors that I have no idea. I've never heard of. So now this didn't hit your feed at all?
No.
But yeah, Jonah Hill put out a list of... and then you see so it's written by a woman, Mary Magdigan. I don't know what this is, what news outlet, but it says Jonah Hill's alleged text messages reveal a bigger issue. Alleged text messages from a very famous man reveal a wild reality women are facing in 2023. I could tell where this one's going. But here, so the girl, her name's Sarah Brady, she wrote, fuck it, and then posted. So Jonah Hill wrote, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. That's a loaded statement there. I don't know what her wild recent past was, or their wild recent past. I don't know. I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for my romantic partnership, my boundaries with you based on the way these actions have hurt our trust.
I mean...
The internet went crazy for that. I feel like there's so much more to that.
I mean, for me, I think it's pretty cut clear. Like, listen, babe, really don't want you going surfing with those handsome guys that are good surfers, better surfers than me. You know what I mean? Because the thing is for any good relationship, right, there has to be common interests. I've dated a lot of girls that just we like drinking, we like food, and for me, that wasn't enough common interest. You mean, I like working out. Working out's been huge for me my whole life. So if you don't work out, we're not going to work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just doing fucking some kind of extreme. Like, yo, want to ride a motorcycle? I'm not getting on that. Like, really, dude?
So this is, you're maybe thinking more of a case of just two people who really weren't right for each other.
Well, I mean, listen, Jonah Hill is not a Greek god, right? When you think of a surfer, right, you think of like a, hey, gnarly dude, like a little thinner, not fat, in decent shape. That's a threat to.
So I'm not putting words in your mouth, but we'll clarify. You're saying maybe Jonah Hill seems insecure in this.
Yeah, or I mean, yeah, sure. But I think that's also along the same lines as going to a club without your man.
Well, what I was saying is I think that there's more to this, that when he says my boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. So something's happened in the past.
Sure.
Something's happened before.
Whether it was a lie or something like that. Like
that we have no context of.
We're going, we're going to dinner tonight. Oh, I can't. I gotta help my mom last minute. And maybe she was at the lunch with fucking, I don't know, Albert, the surfing dude.
Or surfing. Or having boundaryless, inappropriate surfing friendships with men. Yeah, of course. But even, I felt like he's pretty respectful when he says this list that is his demands, whether it be misogynist or predatory or whatever that they're saying. And then he wrote, if you need these things, I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you happiness, I support it, and there'll be no hard feelings.
Right. Now, because any girl who's attractive and is putting up bikini pics and stuff like that, her DMs are going to be flooded by dude just shooting a shot.
And for him, it's different. He's not the average guy. He's a huge actor. His life's under spotlight and scrutiny. People are looking for his significant other to embarrass him or something along those lines. Or
so that's another thing I was going to say is everybody close to you is a reflection of you. The people you surround yourself with and spend most of your time with, like my kids are a reflection of me. I want them dressed well. I want them behaving. My girlfriend is a reflection of me. I want her to dress respectfully and, be a classy woman in the streets. My friends, I guess my friends just don't be like doing dumb shit.
And then her whole thing was, she wrote, see the misuse of the term boundaries, as if Jonah is misusing the term boundaries.
Well, now he may want something one way, like he may be looking at a one-way street where, listen, you can only do A, B, and C, but me, I'm famous. This is my career. I have to do these things, and I'm going to do these things, and that's how it's got to be.
Oh. And then this one article that came up, it's just obviously blasting men, blasting Jonah Hill, saying it's emotional abuse. And I only got one side of the story. I only got the one snippet of text messages. So I'm not seeing how long they were together.
Listen, you and me, we both know when dudes have money and some kind of power, they're usually not like stand-up husbands, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be one of the, I'm sure he got caught fucking around or some shit. And
I get it. You're a surfer. You're a pro surfer. She wasn't even. I don't want to be that guy, but I will be that guy just because that's what we are here at Menace and the Man. She's not that attractive. Jonah could do better. He's an A-list movie star. But if that's who he's with and that's what he's going to do, you're with, go do your surfing shit. Go write in a magazine. Do whatever. I got money covered. We're good. I'm Jonah Hill. You're set for life.
They're also not married.
But also, she knew who he was before she got into it. Do you expect to drag some A-lister through the mud and make him look like an asshole or make him look like an idiot to other men or publicly, or the image? He has a public image to uphold.
Again, I'm going to go, me personally, all my girlfriends, go do whatever you want. Don't embarrass me. And if you're fucking around, or I'll find out, and we won't be like, at the end of the day, it won't work. It will find its way to not work. And if not, and it works out. You know what I mean? That's me.
Have you ever put boundaries on a relationship?
Oh, I always think there's always been enough respect.
I don't think I have.
Or like, I mean, a boundary like you can't go there, you can't hang out with that person.
Like Jonah did. Jonah gave her a list that if you don't meet this criteria, you don't follow these rules, you're out. That's where the rage is right now, that he gave her a list. And that's why he's a misogynist. Like, who is he to...
I guess my criteria is like, hold your end of the bargain. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, they're canceling people now, Menace. So when we blow up, I'm wondering if any of my ex-girlfriends are going to come out with these lists when we blow up and be like, Stanley.
You have lists?
Maybe. I don't think so. Nah, I've always been carefree, if you will. Like, go do what you want. Yeah, you go fuck the guy. Just don't tell me about it.
I mean,
we're different. Different strokes for different folks. So we'll move on from Jonah, because obviously we talked about that earlier. We can talk about that now with anybody, because it's a thing.
Sure. Okay.
So Tough 31 apparently is tanking, or they say, I was reading reports today that the rankings or the ratings haven't been good, as well as the public opinion of the show has been that they just did it wrong. It should have been pros versus pros.
He misses weigh-ins, he misses workouts. So, I mean, he might be missing. Is he missing camera time? Right?
No. They get what they get in every show. He's the star, but the theme of the show has been Conor doesn't show up to the events and the weigh-ins and stuff, but he trains the guys, and then the theme has now turned into that's Chandler's ammo. Is you're not here for these guys, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm here for these guys. That's why my guys are winning. Your guys are winning because your guys are better. Like I told you, every one of those fights, if you gamble on fights and you make the sports book a little bit or look at every one of those fights are like negative 500 odds, easily. Right.
I'm taking the guy who was in the UFC for a few fights over a guy that hasn't fought in the UFC yet.
And they're not even like that. They're not even contender. They haven't even been contender series fights where it's like, oh, this guy's got 10 fights, this guy's got 10 fights, or even this guy's got 10 fights, but this guy's got 4 fights, but he's a stud wrestler. It's been this guy's got 20 fights. He's 2-2 in the UFC. This guy's 5-0. His last fight was against an 0-4 guy. Like the real mismatches that I'm like, what the fuck were they doing?
Right.
For me, one of the greatest, if not the greatest seasons of Tough was obviously 14 with the Menace, but the season where they did veterans versus veterans and they brought back,
Sure. Yeah, guys, here's your chance to get back in.
That's like the Gulag. Here. But what'd you say?
It's like the Gulag.
The Gulag. And every season that they did it,
that's what it should have been called.
100%.
Tough 32, the Gulag.
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I love anything with Conor. I think he's a very entertaining character.
Yes.
And then he's become so, what's the word? Just polarizing in combat sports that like he's the Muhammad Ali-ish vibe that when he walks, the crowd looks, and if he's on TV, the show. So segue there is Conor going, Dana. So how I asked you when you were on Tough, did they ever do 2 fights in the same day?
The semis.
And then they would edit it to where it's 2 different episodes.
No.
Yeah, even in the past, they would put 2 fights in the show sometimes. But here, they got it 2 different episodes. So the first fight of the day was last week, where Conor lost. Him and Chandler had words. Conor mushed his face. They then go in the back, or even Conor mushes his face, and then you ask me if the tweets that Conor puts out are real. They're real. He tweets and deletes them. So you saw the one he put out. So he mushed.
Yeah.
He mushed Chandler's face, and Chandler's like, "Oh,
Let's fight now.
we're gonna do this. We're gonna fight right here." And what's funny about that too is Ryan Bader's right there, and Conor has a guy there. Ryan Bader pushes Conor's guy out of the way, almost to be like, "You're not getting involved. It's between these two." And then you see Chandler like, "Oh, what? I thought you guys were breaking it up," you know. And then he goes, "We're gonna fight right here." Conor put out the little tweet that he deleted where he was making fun of him, and then mushed his face. That whole thing happened. They go in the back. They come out, and there's another fight. So all that tension, that big brawl that just almost happened, they got to come out and coach another fight.
Right.
Dana must have went in the back and told Conor, like, please don't, we can't have this, like, relax. Came out, the next fight happens, Conor's team loses. You saw that clip where he walked up and said, "What happens if I go 0 for 8? Like, what happens if my whole team loses the show?" And the producer looks up and's like, "I guess we'll talk about guys switching teams." And you see Conor like, ugh. And Conor start like shadowbox. And right there, my brain was like, just have Conor fight every one of these guys. Just run that. The last 2 episodes, there's been tension with that. Conor screaming with these guys. Conor needs an exhibition. He doesn't need to pass USADA. He gets off the ring rust. Right. And they have groundbreaking television.
Oh, my God.
Groundbreaking. Yes. If Conor McGregor...
Even if he had a legit spar, like headgear on, shin pads on, sparred 2 5s against a kid from the other team.
How about this? We don't want to break Conor that bad with Chandler or someone, but if we do, we're going to make a star. How about we make a fucking superstar and we get the ratings at the same time? We have the winners of Tough. They're going to fight Conor McGregor. And it's going to be Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed. In real life, the greatest chance of all time.
Well, that's the Matt Serra story.
But that wasn't the red panty night. That was you're getting a title shot. This isn't even you're getting a title shot. This is you're getting red panty night.
Right. Okay.
And put it on ESPN. They could change the landscape of MMA with that. And then here's what would happen too. Conor's not definitely winning those fights.
Yeah, but if he loses to Jason Knight.
Jason Knight flexes in the camera and you have your new Diaz brother to make a few fights off of, make another name off of.
Because
first off, I don't know how many fights Conor has left.
Conor can lose to fucking the kid with the green hair, Mohawk, and still people are still going to watch him fight.
Well, that's just an avenue my brain went, is they could have got Conor right in there with some exhibitions, because Chandler versus him ain't happening.
And if it doesn't go the way they want it, they just don't air it.
Yeah. No, they air it. I think he beat all them up. I do. But I think there is a realm where those guys are Rocky Balboa. And they take what Conor had, get him down, and finish him. But so we'll segue there. We're getting close to wrapping up. Did you see Francis Ngannou did book a fight with Tyson Fury? So prove me wrong. I thought the negotiations weren't going to happen, and I'm curious to see the number he got. But
sure. What do you think? Let's play a game. How much do you think he got?
I hope he got at least 30.
That's the number I had in my head.
I don't know if he got that, though. I don't know if there's that much money. So I don't know if there's that much money in a Tyson Fury fight.
Now, PFL's getting a cut of this, right?
No, they have no interest in his boxing. So that was part of it, where
his deal was...
Yeah, the holdup maybe with the UFC too was that they would have a part of it, but they would have promoted it more. They have a bigger promotional vehicle that would have got the fight bigger. They have a pay-per-view model already that would have sold the fight. But I guess...
I'm going to watch it.
Oh, of course I'm going to watch it. But I guess whoever promotes Tyson Fury's fights is the promoter. And so the way that they called it a gimmick fight, or Dana White called it a gimmick fight, the way fighters make their own LLCs or their own business before a fight to get the checks, Francis Ngannou named his company Gimmick Fight Promotions. Like to stab at Dana White a little bit. I mean, good for Francis. I hope
but that's not his, it's not his idea.
No. But I hope Francis gets the money. That was my argument the whole time. I felt like he left the best fight promoter, though, chasing a bag, where he could have worked with the best fight promoter and made the bag bigger. But his holdup is, he said the bag would have been bigger with the UFC. 100%. On paper, at least what I've looked at. But so I think, unfortunately, it's a rough night for Ngannou. You think he beats Tyson Fury? What chance would you put on it? He has like a 1% chance. It's very slim.
Out of 10.
So Conor was bigger than Floyd. Floyd was older. Floyd was at the end of his career. Tyson Fury is bigger than Ngannou, is in his prime right now, and Conor had more of a boxing background. Fury, like, I hope he surprises me, Ngannou, but the deck is completely stacked against him.
Well,
I think
because he rushes and throws like these wild. All it takes is like a stiff straight.
Yeah,
what's that move? Or he gets rushes and he can't do anything.
He's never knocked somebody out with, oh man, that was clean.
It's a running fucking arms just coming from angles.
Yeah, it's like a club.
But a 4-ounce glove.
Could that work against Fury? Very slim chance. He's the guy. Fury's the guy when it comes to that racket.
I'm not going to give him a 1 out of 10. I'll give him Ngannou 2 out of 10.
Hopefully Ngannou just goes, we fight boxing, and then just goes double leg, slams him on his head, and goes, sorry, I had to do that to you. And has a check coming from Saudi Arabia or something. But
oh, is that where the fight is?
That's where the fight is. So that's
Abu Dhabi?
It could be huge money. Who knows? Maybe he's getting $100 million from some Saudi who's like, I want this fight in my backyard.
For me and my
fancies. Jones versus Stipe got announced as well. So normally what happens is Ngannou announces something and then Dana trumps him with news. So the couple times, that was the running joke, was the couple times Ngannou did something, the next day Dana White did a special announcement and dropped like 6 fights and a big card and all that. So Dana announced at International Fight Week, because I guess the rumor is that he heard that Ngannou, because Eddie Hearn said it, that Ngannou Fury was coming on the tracks. Jones versus Stipe at MSG in November. A year to the day when I was trying to make the fight last year with Dana.
Right.
What happens there? It's the biggest crazy thing is this might be the retirement fight for both guys.
8.
Yeah.
You know what would be cool if they were like, listen, we're both kind of done. Winner fights one more, loser. Like a Chael Sonnen fucking move, dude.
Jones is up in the air. This could be his last one. Might be. Stipe has come out and said this will be his last fight.
Which we've talked about. That's 1 foot out of the odds for me when you say that and then you're going to fight again. It's like, ooh.
Depends on the opponent. When Robbie Lawler said it and he was fighting Niko Price, I was like, bet the house on Robbie Lawler.
Really? Niko Price has some weird knockouts. I wasn't in love with it.
The weird knockouts were,
because I feel like Niko Price beats that guy that Robbie Lawler lost to last.
Niko's on a losing streak right now. He kind of forgot how to win a little bit. There was like a perfect storm coming into that fight that I was like, if Robbie lets his hands go, Niko's going to crumble. And I think the career that Robbie Lawler had, he was like, I'm going out. So Jones Stipe, but even before we wrap up whatever we're talking about speaking, we'll wrap up there almost. Robbie Lawler. I told you when I always do my little stat dives, you and Robbie Lawler actually fought on the same card 4 times.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of being on cards with Robbie Lawler?
Well, the thing is I definitely remember being on the card with him in Dallas because he was fighting Johnny Hendricks, correct?
Yes.
Johnny Hendricks is a wrestler, and we wrestled in college around the same time. And in passing the hotel, I was like, yo, Johnny, you know, and he was just gave me like a, and just kept it moving. I was like, okay, because at this point I was Jimmy Hedis was number 6.
Yeah.
I had won 5 in a row. You know what I mean? So I'm on the UFC's radar. I'm people, you know, it wasn't like I was a nobody, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that was kind of fuck. And then I see Robbie Lawler. I'm at prior to, you know, hey, Robbie, hey, what's up, man? Stops having a conversation with me like he's known me for some time. And I was like, man, that was fucking so, I don't know, it was like so cool to be like, he acknowledged me. Where Johnny was just kind of like, yeah, just wouldn't give me the time of day. And I was like, fuck. At first, being a wrestler, I was going for Johnny. I'm like, yeah, wrestlers, we do our thing, you know? And after that interaction with both those guys during fight week, I was like, Lawler, hang on, not Lawler tonight, Lawler for life.
Yeah.
From that night, from that day on, I was like, dude, not only did they throw fucking hammers, then he stole my fucking fight of the night, him and
At 189.
I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
Right after me.
That was the thing I noticed is if you and Robbie Lawler were on the card, the bonus money was spoken for.
Well, at the time there was only one.
No, I'm speaking of fact. If you and Robbie Lawler were on the card, the bonus money was spoken for.
Oh,
you and
yeah,
him
because then I got it when. Who did he fight when I fought Clay?
You and him fought on the same card 4 times. Only once did you not get a bonus, and it was UFC 189, where you versus Jeremy Stevens was bonus money worthy. Was getting fight of the night until Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald went out and almost killed each other.
Right.
So
also, Jeremy Stevens didn't make weight, so we weren't even eligible for fight of the night.
But you had fight of the night until the greatest fight ever. One of the best fights, the top 3 all-time fights came out.
Yes.
But Robbie got bonus money that night. And then the 3 cards previous before that, there were 3 bonuses going out, or 4. Fight of the night, 2 guys, knockout, and submission. You and Robbie Lawler took bonuses every night.
Yes.
So if he got knockout of the night, you got submission of the night. Or you got fight of the night, he got or submission of the night, like vice versa. But like I'm saying, they were spoken for. Dennis Bermudez, Robbie Lawler on the same card, the bonuses are spoken for.
Which one am I missing? So Conor McGregor, him versus Lawler. Who did he fight at UFC 5 or whatever when I fought Clay Guida?
He fought Matt Brown.
Okay.
Wait, Matt Brown or Koscheck? I'm going to get it up right now.
Koscheck. At
57. That was the Ronda Rousey card. Right?
Oh, okay. No, I was talking about that's what I fought Matt Grice that night.
Yeah, UFC 157, he fought Koscheck, you fought Grice. Then when he fought Hendricks,
Matt Brown.
No, when he fought Hendricks, I
fought Hedis.
Hedis?
Yep.
Let me see. I'm not seeing it. But yes, Hedis.
And then that's when I fought Clay, he fought Matt Brown.
And then when you fought Jeremy, he fought, what's his name? Rory McDonald.
Right.
But that's something I always look at too, is you were always on crazy cards.
I'll shoot that shot. I think that's a shot we can get.
With who, Robbie?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We'll talk about it off air. And even his manager, too, the guy who was like his manager for his whole career, is, I believe, Wade's manager. And
yes.
Yeah. That's the guy who like rode with Robbie for his whole career, or majority of his career, if I'm not mistaken. But so, yeah, the fights were great this past weekend. That was the biggest takeaway. We'll recap the card. I guess we'll do a quick one there. So Robbie Lawler retired. Volkanovski's that guy.
Yes.
He's that guy.
I called it.
Yeah.
He didn't Frankie Edgar him, but he...
No, he did.
Well, Frankie Edgar really fucking throttled him.
He Frank Yeagered him, just didn't land that elbow that fucked up his eye. He ragdolled him and fucked him up. The playbook, unfortunately, I guess, and we talked about this too. Yair was on your radar at one point. You sat with your coaches, you sat with Depot, and you scouted him, and you were like, this is the path to victory.
Sure.
I'm not going to play around with him throwing this spinning shit and doing all this.
Well, it's my game plan with everybody, I thought would have worked even really good on him.
Yeah.
Get in his face, get close, take him down, throw down jiu-jitsu, beat him up.
But that's what Volkanovski did. Volkanovski saw the things flying at him on the feet and was like,
here we
posture
go. Up, beat him up.
And then Pantoja beating Moreno. It was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I thought Pantoja was going to smoke him because he smoked him the other two fights. Moreno overachieved or did better this time. Do you know Pantoja at all?
Why wasn't this fight given to him way sooner? Why they keep running the number 4 of
politics and they had the draw. The belt was going back and forth, so they had to just keep running those fights back. And I think those fights they were action, so people wanted them, and I think they were doing decent numbers. Probably moving.
I think anytime Moreno fights, it's going to be action.
They were probably moving the needle.
He's a fucking Mexican. He puts his chin down and he fucking comes forward, throws high volume, and keeps throwing. And, you know what I mean?
They were moving the needle in social media. So did you see Robert Whittaker? I joked. I was like, the fight gods were like, listen, we'll give you Robbie Lawler tonight, but we got to take Robert Whittaker. And it's like, oh, all right, you know what? We'll do this one.
But DDP is the deal.
I think that was Robert Whittaker. DDP's good. I think it was an off night for Robert Whittaker a little bit.
Okay.
Got caught, and DDP's good. Like, DDP showed, I'm big for the weight class, my striking's deceptive, and I can hang.
What I've seen on the internet is people are picking DDP against Israel.
If he looks at the Jan Blachowicz fight and goes, I'm going to grapple, I'm going to strike with him a little bit, but I'm going to grapple him, he could beat Izzy. Again, I hold Robert Whittaker up here. I think Robert Whittaker's, very good.
I was gonna say, dude, he just, like, the Reaper, I saw that. He looked right through DDP, was like...
Whittaker looked uncomfortable to me, shot a takedown, kind of looked uncomfortable there, felt DDP size. DDP then took Whittaker down, and you saw almost when DDP took Whittaker down, Whittaker deflate and go like, wow, this guy's strong, this guy's big. You saw his whole
Was it in
demeanor
the first or second?
This was the first round. So Whittaker was winning, got a takedown, and then the end of the first round, DDP took him down, started ground and pounding him, like fucked him up, cut him open. Then the second round, you saw Whittaker's demeanor was changed, all that. He was kind of throwing things from a little bit further out and just wasn't, it was goofy-footed a little bit, wasn't setting things up right. Then he just zigged when he should have zagged. Punch ran right across his nose. That was where it got heartbreaking because the way he got dropped, he like was out, but he wasn't out. You know, like the way he got dropped and then stood up, he wasn't there. And then he went, oh, I'm in a fight, and had to defend himself, and then just got TKO'd.
Yeah.
Murdered an amazing night. I would have won thousands. Like I was.
What was your parlay?
I had a couple of earlier
What was your best
prelims.
parlay?
I had Robbie Lawler. The parlay that would have hit big, I had Robbie Lawler. I had Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner. I think Dan Hooker was an underdog. I had Robbie Lawler, who was a huge underdog. And I picked the guy Esteban Ribovics, who was the first fight. I had Robbie Lawler. And now I had a bunch of like parlays spread with a bunch of things sprinkled. These were the main ones that like I picked. I had Pantoja. I had Volkanovski. I had everything except for Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker like crushed everything. So then I even had to watch Pantoja and Volkanovski win and me be like, man, it's twisting the knife.
Bro, people, like when I would lose, like I'm already lost, dude, like would send me their fucking parlays with like what they would have won. And like, I'm the only one red. And I'm like, sorry, dude, you know, but like fuck you, dude. Right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then in
sport.
terms of being in the fight and your feelings, ding, 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 bell goes off. There's like this like weird, like you get in one exchange, you're like, am I in a breath? Am I, Then there's times of discomfort where you're like, fuck, am I gonna lose? Is he gonna like I don't want this tonight. Then there's this like, let's just go numb. That's just go numb. Go robot, go numb. Just fight. Just do,
Yeah.
By then, your knees are all ripped up. You're lumped up.
That's the craziest thing about
understand
fighting.
These. You don't smell anything. You can't hear awesome. It's like the crowd. You can hear like an echo, and depending on your coaches and how long you've been with them, or your ability to pay attention to direction. Like I couldn't tell you one thing that the other corner is saying, but I hear everything my guys are saying.
Well, that's the craziest thing about fighting is it's super hyper focused for that one moment, but it's so different from other sports where it's like I have 82 games, 162 games. You have that 15 minutes where day of 20 minutes before you might be like, man, I really don't feel like it right now.
Sometimes you feel like you can't feel the ground with your feet. It feels like your feet are like almost numb. Then there's other times where you're like, I don't feel like I have awesome grip on this. I feel like it's a little slippery. Then there's times where...
Now, do you think those things are in your head? Or they're... Like, obviously, slippery, but then there's also, you could be playing with yourself a little bit. Like, I don't know how my feet feel.
Well, they have the logos, and vinyl's different than...
The logos are terrible, yeah.
Vinyl is different than any gym you ever been. So what I've found, Doc did it for me, Ryan Parsons, my manager, was he poured water, and he's like, rub your feet in that. It's very slippery until you then take your feet and wipe it on a dry canvas. It like gives you like this little
tack a little bit. You see a lot of fighters do that.
Every fight, you see guys pour water and they step in it and kind of step around and gives them a little grip. Because dry feet on the canvas, no buenos. Yeah. That moisture gives you like a little bit extra grip. But yeah, there's every fighter constantly. If there's time to think about it, though, am I tired? Do I have... If you have time, usually like an over-under against the cage. Or if you're on, he's on you. Like, let's go. It's a wild... Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
So we'll go to the card, 2 or 3 fights from the card this weekend, or even for you retiring. So you had that, where we'll end it with the Robbie Lawler a little bit. That mentality going in, you kind of knew that was your last fight, the last one.
Oh.
Or were you on the fence?
Ready? Your favorite thing, yes and no. If I knocked him out or submitted him in like 2 minutes, let's do another one. Because I was on a time frame. I was starting a job, which I was told was going to start in early spring. I didn't get hired until June. Had I known that, I would have definitely run another one, healed up after January, and ran another one.
Oh, they would have loved that.
But I was on a time frame, so I was like, yo, if I knock this guy out or submit this guy and go untouched, I'll ask for another fight within 2 or 3 weeks. So Lawler, that's where my mind was.
Lawler went untouched there and was like, I'm done. At the post-fight press conference, they were like, are you sure you're done? Because Robbie Lawler mentioned you in a tweet or something, and you saw... Conor McGregor mentioned you in a tweet. You saw Lawler like perk up a little bit, and he was like, did he say he wants to fight? Like, I'll come back for that. That's the fight you come back for, And right there, another perfect fight. UFC, do it. Conor McGregor, Robbie Lawler at 170. That first round would be insane.
Yeah.
And then does Conor lose that much if he gets knocked out by Robbie Lawler? Maybe. Not really. He didn't lose anything getting knocked out by Dustin Poirier. At least I feel that way. He lost maybe in like the real fight community, like, oh, he got fucked up by Poirier. Poirier, yes.
Well, he had that on the one fight. He had the out with his leg.
But I'm saying he doesn't. It doesn't matter. He's like Nate Diaz. It doesn't matter what happens in the fight. His popularity, people still want him, clamor for him to fight. So, but this weekend there is. But yeah, we can go all night on the relation to Robbie Lawler. But
sure,
you and Lawler shared a few cards together. It was good. You should definitely shoot that shot. The only real fight I see this weekend is Holm is the main event. I saw people talking about how this card could have been so much better, but a lot of fights fell off. I saw it was supposed to be Luque versus RDA. That fight got rescheduled.
Ooh, love that.
That's a good one. But so our girl Ashlee Evans Smith is returning this weekend. Aileen Perez, she's fighting.
Mexican chick?
I don't know what that flag is. 2 blue stripes and a white stripe in the middle.
I don't even know this silver. Sorry, getting off topic. The silver girl that Holly Holm's fighting.
I feel like that's a lot of women's MMA right now. Oh, this girl's from Argentina. Yeah, I don't really know Bruna Silva too much as well. I know Holly Holm's going to fuck her up, though. Holly Holm's that chick. And then, there's a bunch of fights. We won't really pick. There's one fight. The guy Jack Della Maddalena. You ever see him? Guy who knocked out Randy Brown. And then he was supposed to fight last week, but the fight fell out.
Oh, yes.
And then I forget who he was supposed to fight now. But that fight fell out. Now he's fighting some guy, Bassil Hafez, on short notice. Do you know Bassil Hafez?
No.
He wrestled somewhere. And I believe he's from somewhere in PA. The only reason I know of him is because Hugh McKenna got offered him one time. And I remember I looked the guy up, saw he was a wrestler. I asked Serm, do you know this guy? And Serm was like, yeah, why? And I was like, because they offered him Hugh McKenna. He was like, don't let Hugh fight that guy. And he said the guy was a killer. So he makes his UFC debut. And not much else. But I'll let you get out of here, Menace. I don't even have picks for you on this fight card.
So well,
you don't really know these people.
You know what? I'm gonna go Bassil.
Why, you know him?
No, I mean I'm looking at him. I'm none of these pictures saying anything, but I'm just going with it.
Okay.
Maybe I throw he's a plus 440.
Huge underdog, yeah. Very short notice accepting the fight. He seems confident, and I've always watched him on the regional scene. Know he's a problem.
Oh, and then there's also Alex Munoz versus this Carl Deaton. This Carl Deaton guy, I know him somehow. Me and him are Facebook friends.
Well, that's the other thing. Where I always assume you don't know fighters, you do have these weird relationships with some people sometimes.
Alex Munoz, I know he's
the alpha male guy.
Yes, and alpha male was super hype on him, and then he didn't win. He didn't win the Ultimate Fight or something like that.
He lost he won a Contender Series fight, didn't get signed. Then they took him, but he lost two. He went 0-2 so far in the UFC.
Right.
But a lot of those guys from Alpha Male are right there skill wise.
But I remember, talking to Uriah about him, and he signed off big time. Like, this guy's the next big deal.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Alpha Male guys, the skills are always there. It's putting it together under the lights.
Wow.
They've had that room from even way before you went there in the start of your career. They've been producing highest level guys.
And then there's another fight on here. Ottoman Azadatier versus, or no, sorry, Nazim versus Terrance McKinney. Did Terrance McKinney beat Favola?
Ooh, yes, that's the big fight too. Yes.
So that's kind of like he's
payback.
Yeah.
McKinney caught Favola though.
Yes, right. Well, that was in like 4 seconds.
7 seconds. Yeah. And then
so
here,
I mean,
wait.
For Favola, I would love to see Nas get this done. And I've sparred against both of them, Nas and Favola. Now, I don't know if it was like maybe a respect thing, because I've seen them both fight live. You know what I'm saying? Nas is more of a pro. He keeps me like very at distance, and like he's got a similar feel, his stand up, to RDA.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Favola's a freestyle fighter. Favola's a grappler.
Right. He's gonna throw punches from every angle and throw a bunch. Whereas Nas is like,
if I'm not mistaken, he's
long,
more of a striker.
And he's got long, hard kicks, and he'll throw some knees in there and shit.
Like, can Nas grapple? Of course, I'm sure he trains at Longo. I'm sure he trains with Serra and stuff. But I believe he's more of a striker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but difficult to take down.
Well,
he can wrestle though.
McKinney's coming to strike.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my favorite things.
Nas can wrestle.
You ever see they made a TikTok of a camera on McKinney and McKinney coming out and throwing a combo, and Favola stitched it together and had McKinney coming out throwing the combo, and he made it like he was getting punched in the face, and then he fell to the ground. Like
you gotta be able to make fun of yourself in this game.
Yeah, you have to.
Or anything.
You have to. But so yeah, there's some good fights. That's the fight for me this weekend, actually, is the Nazim versus Terrance McKinney fight.
That's probably the best fight on the card.
And then don't love many women. I don't love many women fighters. I love Holly Holm. I watch Holly Holm fights. I think Holly Holm's good. Very skilled. She's
number 3. Who's she behind?
She's the top tier of women's MMA.
Yes, she's number 3. Who's she behind?
I have her at number 2. Oh, well, I'm on Tapology. She's behind Pena, Raquel Pennington, Irene Aldana. There's a few people she might be behind. But she had one fight recently. It might have been Aldana or somebody where she didn't lose. Oh, Caitlin Vieira, where they robbed Holly Holm. Holly Holm should have 4 wins in a row, but she's got 1.
Ashlee Evans Smith, if she loses, is she out of the UFC?
I don't know. They like her, so like I've noticed a lot of that female group, that group of females that like was prevalent for a couple of years in the UFC. That was like the initial group. They're very friendly with the matchmakers, so I think that she's 36.
She also hasn't fought in 3 years.
She hasn't fought in 3 years. I know she had
February
some
17th, 2019 against Lee. What was the decision on that?
What'd you say?
What was the decision on when Ashlee Evans Smith fought Lee?
She lost.
Doesn't say that.
She lost the decision. She might. This might be the end, actually, because this would be 3 in a row.
This would be if she loses, yeah.
She's not getting finished, so it's not like she can't hang, but she's not winning, so.
Her last win was 2018 against Beck Rollins.
And she has a little losing streak. We've talked about that in the past, too. Sometimes you have that struggle where you, like, forget how to win.
Sure.
And she's, like, doubt will creep in a little bit quicker on someone on a losing streak.
But it looks like she's got some other venues or avenues going on. So that could either be a distraction from preparation, or it could be a distraction of her getting in her own head about the fight, which could be a good thing.
But also, you think about those numbers when you're getting punched and you're like, you know what? I can just do that for money and I can fold this in. I hope she wins. I love Ashlee.
Me
I hope she
too.
wins.
Yeah, he's I'm Menace the Man favorite.
And I see this other one. Hold on. This might be where
Oh, real quick. Is this her first fight since she's got the girls put in?
I think so. Yeah.
I
don't know who this girl is, but she looks good. Victoria Dudakova.
Creepy stand.
I don't know who this is.
She's black on the UFC page.
All right, but it was good talking to you, Menace. Sure, it'll be a great weekend of fights. Is there boxing this week? No boxing. That's next weekend. But yeah, this girl's a cute Russian chick. Ooh, so her and Holly Holm. I'm looking forward to this weekend. And usually, the Russian girls are pretty good. The Polish girls. It winds up a lot of times, unfortunately, being the American girls who are terrible at MMA and make it unwatchable and unbettable. But I still love you, ladies.
Too comfortable of a life, you know?
Yeah. It was good seeing you, Menace. We'll be back pretty soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, see you later.